Welcome back to the training series for the Rehabilitation Cost Estimation tool for mining and exploration in New South Wales. This is Module 14. The exploration input sheet is only to be used where exploration is being conducted on a mining lease. In regards to the calculation of rehabilitation cost estimates prepared for exploration being conducted on an exploration lease, please use the online RCE that is included with the Accessible Prospecting Operations application on the Resources Regulator portal. This survey will include rates and activities that are aligned with the exploration input sheet within this Excel RCE tool. The exploration input sheet calculates costs for decommissioning and rehabilitation of activities associated with exploration. Tables are available for decommissioning and/or rehabilitation of tracks and laydown, ponds, boreholes and sumps, waste disposal, contaminated soil, land rehabilitation, including pest management, management of undisturbed areas, maintenance of areas that are shaped and seeded and revegetation has been successful, minor, moderate and major rehabilitation repairs, repair of total landform failure, and repair of subsidence, and mobilisation and additional activities. User build tables are available for tracks, laydown areas and restoration of boreholes. When working with this sheet, the following applies to the measurement options for roads and tracks. The default rates offer two ways to measure roads and tracks, allowing flexibility based on the data you have available. If you can easily measure the length of roads and tracks, use the length unit, which is in kilometres. This option assumes a standard width, which you can find in the Assumptions General Sheet. Alternatively, if your GIS system provides area measurements, you can use the area unit measured in hectares. Switching between length and area will automatically update the unit and default rate. The exploration sheet is designed for ease of use. Most tables require a single entry and a selection from a drop-down menu, making data input straightforward. For tracks, you'll need to make a couple of selections, which are the land type and measurement unit, but these are still simple to navigate. As with all the sheets, the exploration sheet offers significant flexibility in how you enter quantities. You can distribute them across the columns based on your preferred approach. For this example, we'll demonstrate how you could group disturbances by a specific area. The column will represent a distinct area with the quantities entered into that column reflecting the disturbances specific to that area. To begin with, we will assign a name to the area. We will call it Area A. The Notes row allows you to add specific details or general information about each exploration area. Our Area A has all the bores drilled and there are only tracks, ponds, and minor contamination remaining. So we will enter Old Exploration Area in the notes. This area has 10 kilometres of earthen track that must be restored to a native environment. We select Track Park Up with no cover, compacted earth, native, then select Length and enter 10 kilometres. We also have 5 kilometres of track that a landowner has agreed to retain and advised that there is no further work required. So we will add a note for the regulator. To demonstrate how you would input disturbances with different attributes but associated with the same area, we will assume Area A also has 2 kilometres of track in a pasture area. In the adjacent column, we will repeat the name Area A and add a note, Length of track in farm area. We then select Track Park Up with no cover, compacted earth, pasture, then select Length and enter 2 kilometres. We have 3 hectares of laydown associated with the activities in the native area, so select Laydown with no cover, compacted earth, native, and enter 3. We have 3 ponds associated with Area A, and we will select Dam, Raw, Pasture, 0 to less than or equal to 1 megalitre in the first column and enter 3. Our exploration was for minerals, and we will select Mineral Exploration Drill Hole, Grout and Cap in the boreholes table and enter 20. We have a quote of $5,000 per hole, so we enter this to the alternate rate and make a note for the regulator. We have some drums of oil yet to be managed, so we will include those in the waste disposal section. We select Oil Disposal and enter the total volume, 2 kilolitres. The oil is going to a disposal facility 180 kilometers away, so we select the 150 to 200 kilometer category. We will accept the gate fee and set the levy to regional. We do not have any contaminated soil, so we will skip past that table. However, due to a heavy equipment incident that caused minor damage to the land, we have an area of land that needs to be rehabilitated, so we will select Existing Rehabilitation Repair Minor and enter 0.3 hectares. The mobilisation and additional activities table are last. We need a grader to restore the tracks and land, and maybe an excavator or dozer to repair the land damage. So we select Mob Exploration less than or equal to 150 kilometers and enter 1 in the quantity column. The exploration sheet aims to keep required entries to a minimum, and any additional items can be added to this table. In our case, we have 2 small demountable buildings that are not covered by the tables above. We search the cost schedule for an appropriate rate. In this case, portable skid-mounted is appropriate. We can either enter this rate to the additional table manually or go equals in the rate column, then go to the cell for the portable skid-mounted rate in the cost schedule sheet like this. We enter a description, portable buildings left in Wellpad 33, and enter 2 for the quantity. We will now talk about the user build tables, which are available for restoration of tracks, laydown, and bores. As a reminder, the user tables are revealed by selecting Show in the toggle on the left. This allows us more flexibility, but requires more attention to detail. And if you have entered quantities to the default table above, you do not have to enter quantities for the same item in the user build table. We will now go through a track example. We have earthen tracks with a total area of 3 hectares, so we enter 3 and select earthen. When earthen is selected, the default rate for load and haul cover is automatically set to 0, as there is no material to load and haul. We need to rip and trim the tracks, so we'll accept the areas suggested by the tool in both these tables and select a small grader. We do not need to decompress as well, so we will set the area in the decompress table to 0. We now need to add quantities for growth media, amelioration, and revegetation. The tool suggests the appropriate area for each disturbance type, and we will accept those areas. If the user wanted to change those areas, they can enter values into the override row. We now select the distance from which growth media will come, and we assume in this case it will be the 2,500 to 3,000 meter range. We require amelioration with gypsum, so we select gypsum and accept the area suggested by the tool. We now select the one-way distance to the gypsum supply, and we will assume this is 55 kilometers, so select the 50 to 60 kilometer range. The last rehabilitation table is for revegetation, and the tool suggests the area based on the growth media area. We will leave this as suggested. The revegetation scope in the user build section has separate tables for the elements that make up revegetation, as opposed to the rolled up rate in the default table. This includes purchasing seed or plants, supply the seed or planting the plant or apply a hydro product, buying the fertilizer, applying the fertilizer, an allowance for acquiring water and applying the water. For each column, the selections we make must be consistent. For example, if hydro seeding with pasture is selected, the selections for fertilizer and water must also be hydro seeding with pasture seed. We will select native for all these and handcast seeding. As for all the sheets, the subtotals for each table are shown in the black lines at the end of each section, and then the total for each column is shown at the top of the sheet. The total for the sheet is shown on the left-hand side, and then above that is the total for the entire RCE, so we can see in real time how quantities entered to the local sheet affect the total RCE. Let's jump over to the RCE summary and see how the total is building up. We now have rolled up costs for infrastructure area, infrastructure mine entries, beneficiation facilities, tailing storage facilities, water management areas, overburden emplacement areas, active mining areas, underground mine areas, and now exploration.